Hello, everybody. I'm Rand Northam, Interim Communications Manager.
And I'm Maurice Jones, Town Manager for Chapel Hill.
And today we want to join you to discuss the last 2 months of meetings. The number of meetings have been reduced compared to previous months, but still a lot of action that the council has taken. And we can't talk about what the council has done without, of course, talking about the COVID-19 pandemic and the ongoing response that the town is undergoing right now. And Mr. Jones, the numbers are certainly on the rise right now, and our focus is on that.
There's still a lot of concern right now because, as you mentioned, the numbers have been going up considerably in the state of North Carolina and around the country. Thankfully, here in Orange County, the number of positive cases, although on the rise, it's not, the numbers have not increased as dramatically as other places. And for the most part, our positivity rate has remained fairly low, once again, compared to other places. So folks in Orange County here in Chapel Hill, I think, have done an excellent job of protecting themselves and others. And what we're asking folks to do is to keep that in mind, especially as we go into the next phase of our holiday season, to make sure that folks are doing everything they can to protect themselves, and they're not, kind of dropping their guard a little bit. As there is some positive news out there. We do have the holidays. Folks do want to gather together during this period of time, but we need to remain diligent and continue to protect ourselves and maybe not gather together in the same way that we would normally gather together, knowing that the spread of the virus has been increasing, and just protecting ourselves for a little bit longer so that we can keep everyone as safe as possible, as healthy as possible, and get to the point where we are in a position to get the vaccine distributed. There will be phases in which the vaccine will be distributed over a period of time, starting off with first responders and folks in the medical profession, folks in long-term care facilities, and then moving along to folks who have different types of ailments that could be exacerbated by the COVID-19 virus. So we need folks to remain patient because it will be a while before any of the vaccines are being distributed generally and more widely to folks. So we need folks to continue to do the types of things that we've done very well here in Chapel Hill and Orange County to keep protecting folks until we have a chance to get the vaccine distributed to a wider audience here in our area.
And of course, with a new year, we hope to see more readily available those vaccines, but also we will see the return of UNC, a new semester, and a few more students returning to campus. The town council did get an opportunity to speak with university personnel at one of its recent council meetings to get an idea and get some questions answered about what that new semester in the spring will look like.
Yeah, in the end, it looks like there will be, once again, a mix of on-campus learning and virtual learning. The university is looking to bring roughly another 2,000 students onto campus versus what we saw at the end of the semester. As you recall, back in August, after starting the semester with a number of students, a great number of students on campus, the university reverted remote learning only and then closed down most of its dorms, but they still had roughly 1,500 students on, have other options for living spaces. And so they're looking at maybe about 3,500 students who would be living on campus. They have decompressed their dorms to ensure that there's only one student per unit to spread students out. And then they have more units that are in place now to move students who are infected with the virus during their quarantine. So they were also taking some steps to help ensure students are tested before they're coming back to campus. And then once on campus, there will be random tests that will take place, some surveillance testing that will take place to help ensure that the university and students are catching any sort of spread pretty quickly. So the university is planning to come back on January 19th. But we'll know more about their plans depending on what's going on around the state and around the country soon after the new year begins. But right now they do intend to open up on January 19th with a smaller number of students on campus than what they started the first semester of this year back in August with.
Well, you can find more information about what the town is doing and resources available on our website. As we move along into some of the action that the council has taken, one big step and one that the council greeted with great excitement was the passage of the future land use map, phase one of an ongoing project in the Charting Our Future project.
Yeah, this project has been in the works for now for about 2.5 years, 3 years almost. And it's a really important step in eventually rewriting our land use management ordinance. And so the flume has had many opportunities before council to review it and discuss it. And in addition to that, a lot of opportunities to discuss this with the public as well. There's been a ton of community engagement. Even after COVID hit, we still reached out to folks electronically to get their thoughts on the focus areas here in town that we have been working on now for several years, with an attempt to really urbanize portions of our community, knowing that that we needed to do that, and especially to make important connections when it comes to transportation, like with our BRT that we're planning for, our bus rapid transit routes, and then also to help make Chapel Hill a more walkable, bikeable community as well, and to lessen long-term lessen our need to get in our cars to get from one place to another. So a lot of really important work has been tied to this flume. Elisa Duffy Rogers, who's been our point person on this, our leader on this from a staff perspective, has worked very closely with folks throughout the community and with this council to a really solid flume that will put us in good position to take the necessary steps that we need to get to the point where we're rewriting our LUMO at some point in the future. But a very important step taken with the passage of the flume, and we're excited about it.
Another project that the council spent a good bit of time on with the applicant is that of Bridgepoint, and that saw passage as well just recently here in December.
That was a conditional zoning for a project on Homestead Road, about 54 townhomes that are part of that project. It's a very exciting project for a couple of reasons. One, it does take into consideration the need for more middle housing by having these townhomes in place. There is an affordable housing component as well. 5 of the 54 units will be affordable housing units. And the developer, I think, spent a lot of time with us on trying to create a project that would work well for not only the developer and future residents there, but the community at large, and spent some time with Brian Peterson, who's our urban designer, and kind of readjusting the configuration of the site to make it a better project. And we appreciated Brian's work, and then of course the developer for working with us, and all our advisory boards as well, who contributed to this process. So we'll have 54 new townhomes at some point in the near future to address really important middle income housing needs.
And finally, the project for the East Rosemary deck, a public-private partnership that was agreed upon in October, is moving forward right now. The council continues to receive small updates on that as that project is in some of the more administrative work right now. But one thing that the council did do in its December meeting is to talk about the possibility of technology and where the council wants to see staff go with some of the technology options for the parking for that parking deck.
Yeah, we've been in the due diligence period with this since the council passed and approved the project. And so we've been working on issues like environmental assessments, finalizing design on the project, finalizing the traffic impact analysis and our report on how to respond to future traffic needs along there. And then one other issue that we talked about with the council was this issue of parking technology. And the council gave us some good direction on what they'd like to see, but also understanding that there's a cost associated with that. And so they've asked our staff to take a closer look at what is needed in terms of parking technology, from the basics to kind of a Cadillac plan, and find that that kind of right balance between providing the amenities that folks will expect when they come into our parking garage in the future, but then also the ability to collect important data as well, but also finding the right price point for that as well. So staff will take that guidance from the council. We'll spend a little bit more time on that and then come back and have a final decision about what direction to go in when it comes to parking technology.
Of course, this is just a highlight of all the items that the council met on in November and December. You can find more information on these items and others on our website. The council is in a hiatus now, a small winter hiatus until January, and we'll be back at it, and we'll provide you more information on those meetings in the new year. Until then, we thank you for watching and take care.
Happy New Year, everyone. Thank you. Take care.